First time, but actually it was the second time because we tried it today.
We did.
So this is the first time we're going live, and we're doing this as the answer on your requests and questions. Ashley prepared his list of questions. I prepared the
Yes.
list of questions that you gave to me. But however, before we start, if you just stumble on this video, my name is Olga and I'm real estate sales coach in Dubai with my own 6 years, actually, I calculated real estate sales experience as an agent, as a manager. And for the past 5 years, I'm training and coaching. And Ashley,
Hello.
popcorn into you.
Yes. So, Ashley, your real estate COO. I've been in real estate now for nearly 22 years. 10 of those years were in the UK, 11 of them have been in Dubai. I've been a broker, I've been a lettings negotiator, I've been a manager. I've been pretty much everything. I've gone through the ranks. So I've pretty much gone through the ranks when it comes to real estate. So ask your questions.
So now you're developing your COO brand. For those who don't really understand all of the C-suite titles, what is this about?
So COO is Chief Operating Officer. So pretty much when you're Chief Operating Officer, you are literally the one that brings it all together. You are the one that brings the strategy. You're the one that kind of makes everything behind the scenes look good. So my job as a real estate COO is just to make sure the cogs are turning, make sure the brokers have support, make sure they've got training, make sure they've got development, make sure the company is going in the right direction. So the reason why I started your real estate COO is because I really want to kind of help brokers who are starting their journey navigate through the real estate madness and be the operating officer behind the madness for them and try and give them a bit of guidance and no fluff approach. So that's pretty much why we kind of set this up.
Yeah, and I want to add on that today's live going to be fully dedicated to the questions about how to start in Dubai real estate. So there is lots of confusion, and despite of how much we're going to be talking about this, the confusion going to still be there. So that's why we're just going to put a little bit of drop of like a salty water. Hopefully, we're going to create an ocean at some point. And why I was asking about the COO. So you do have, let's say, a front row seat to all of the actual truth of what is happening with the company. So you're definitely going to give a guidance on how to select a company, what kind of red flags, or what are the white flags, or what are the blue flags. Yeah.
Correct. The good,
So
the bad,
should we?
and the ugly.
Yeah, the ugly. Okay. I'm going to start with the questions I've got from Asma.
Okay.
She's living in UK currently, and she approached me on Instagram. She's thinking of relocating, and of course, as the same as I thought 11 years ago when I was relocating to Dubai. Oh, I have to get my visa first done. I have to kind of settle myself with accommodation, and then I will get my license. Maybe then I'm going to start approaching company who potentially would hire me. But okay, so let's go to the questions. So the first one, what's the best way to move to Dubai and begin working in real estate sector? And there is like a main question, and that is a sub one.
Okay.
How can I find the right company to start with? So what's the algorithm behind finding the right company, and how you should move to Dubai first and then find the right company, or you find the right company and then with this right company you move to Dubai? What's your thoughts on that?
I think personally, I mean, I relocated from the UK and I kind of did my due diligence before. Obviously, Google helped me a lot to find out who the top companies are in Dubai. I did a search, so I pretty much did that in terms of Google. It came up with a whole list of companies. I then contacted those companies and then I arranged online meetings with them. I was lucky in the way that I actually came on holiday to Dubai. So I shortlisted a few companies. I then met them. So it was a bit easier for me. But if you're not able to do that, then definitely you want to kind of meet with as many companies as possible. I would also stalk their brokers. That's another way of doing it, because again, recruiters are going to.
Not available 11 years ago, is it?
No,
You couldn't
exactly.
just stalk someone on the Instagram. It's like how you are like people not even on Instagram, is it?
Exactly. So now you got access to so much. And you can go on to, Instagram, you can follow the company's page, you can see which brokers have been highlighted the most, you can follow them on their Instagram, and reach out to them. And I think that definitely it's a good thing to do, because recruiters are going to give you the fluff, aren't they? They're going to sell you a dream because that's what they're paid to do. But if you then go right
Well,
to the
let's just stop over here, because I want specifically to just help the recruiters as well, because they are in the difficult sales job. And Mani, hi to you as well. I can see a comment.
Finally,
Yeah. So while we're talking about recruiters, their main goal is to bring as many heads in the company. Why?
correct.
Because this is how, in the like a simple mindset of maybe the owner of the company, the more agents I have, the more money I will make. They will run around, try to close deals because it's commission only. So they need to pay the bills. So that kind of put me in a position where I have a high possibility of making more money. So the recruiters, as much as, you know, they are nice people and they want to help, they have to make their commission.
For the
And the
quota.
commission is
Yeah,
commission is a best placement. They do have on average 5 agents per month. They have to bring 5 agents per month. So for them to bring 5 agents per month, they have to talk to, I don't know, maybe 60, 50
correct.
to just bring 5.
Correct.
Sorry, I'm keep going.
No, it's fine. I think that's, you're completely right. I think definitely when it comes to the recruitment side, we'll probably touch base on this another time, but you know, they are kind of going to be selling you a dream. They are going to be wanting to get you over here as quickly as possible so they can fill their, you know, fill the quota. Yes, there are some good ones out there and they do care. But I would definitely, aside from talking to the recruiter, I would definitely try and speak to a few of the brokers that might work for the companies that you're looking to shortlist, and get an idea of what's actually going on there and how they're feeling and what the support is like, the training, all these sorts of things. It's super important.
From my perspective, the way I did it 11 years ago as well, I actually landed in Dubai with, like, relocated 24th of December,
So nearly
2014. Yep. So the way I did it, I came and I stayed for almost a month prior to that in October. So I took a good look around. I was staying with my friends, so that was kind of free for me. I understood what will I be able to succeed with my current set of skills, which job I will potentially get. I was not looking only on real estate. I was trying to understand what else could be there for me. But the real estate, even back then, was kind of the most
whatever jobs
easy position. Yeah, because I was doing real estate since I was 21 as well. So nothing much to change. And then, only then, I packed my stuff, rented my apartment, and relocated to Dubai. When I relocated, I actually started actively approaching different companies, applying and going on the different interviews. So this is how I did it. From the perspective of what's the best way, I would highly recommend to someone who is thinking of relocating, spend a week or maybe 10 days here first before you
I definitely
relocate.
recommend that. I mean, I think definitely, you know, if you shortlist companies, for sure, once you get here, if you can spend a good week or two. I mean, I've met a couple of people in the last week that have literally been doing their research over the last couple of months. They come to Dubai and they've been meeting every single person possible to get an idea of actually what it's like, you know. So I think definitely if that's what you can do, and the funds kind of allow you to do that, definitely have a little settle-in period first before you decide.
Well, the next question under this question, under the bracket, are there specific agencies or firms that are known for hiring newcomers in the industry?
I think pretty much most companies will hire new brokers. I think definitely most companies will hire new brokers if they have specific training platforms in place, or they have a training program that they're going to put you through. I do know some companies don't take on fresh brokers because they don't have the resources to train and set them in the right way. But I'd say 90% of companies, they will take on new brokers because they want to train them and mold them their way.
And the reality is, it's very easy to find a job in Dubai as a real estate agent. It's commission only. As I was always laughing, even when I was hiring for my own team back in 2017, as long as you breathe, you are qualified to be an agent in Dubai. Currently, I think you have to, like, breathe half of the times, no? Because the bar is really low. I mean, there is varieties of companies as well. And of course, if the company is telling you, or if you see in the job ad that it has to be experienced, don't think that they just don't want to deal with the newbies. They just don't have tools to make you operational. So you're going to waste your money and waste your time joining this company.
Correct. And I think as well, it's so important that, you know, you get the right start, because if you don't get the right start in this industry, you're going to get eaten up and spat out, and it could be the difference of you staying in Dubai and going home within a couple of months. So definitely, you know, pick a company. If you are going to pick a company, make sure they do have a strong onboarding process and a training program, at least an introduction training program to get you started at least, and hopefully you'll have ongoing training from there. But Olga's right, the entry level is really easy, so companies will just take on people, but, you know, do your due diligence, do as much as you possibly can, and pick a company that's going to be right for you.
Well, Mani is asking us this question. He's a recruiter looking to break into the real estate sector in Dubai. We are not sure if you're in Dubai already or not. There is a certain criteria, and we don't know Mani. I would say current recruitment landscape is more favoring females, that's for sure.
I think you've got to have a certain look. When it
Has
comes
a look. And Europeans, again, because majority of agents going to be males, and for whatever reason it feels like it's easier to attract on the interview if you are a female. However, from my perspective, if you have a strong background in cold outreach, if you know and you're able to develop an additional strategies, not just hope and pray that you put an ad on LinkedIn and then the good agents are randomly going to apply. No, you know how to cold call agents. You understand how to build a relationship and connection through, I don't know, networking events with the agent, visiting different launches. You're actively able to approach it. I think there is a good possibility that you're going to be hired, because what the companies are looking for now is someone who can bring more people.
Yeah,
that's it.
I think as well, I think for recruiters especially, you know, I think companies will have their certain profile. Every company has their certain profile. Yes, Europeans are most. There are companies that only hire Middle Eastern people. There's certain companies will have different kind of profiles.
Yeah.
But I think it's just making sure that the person coming into the company does match that profile, but also is going to be happy within that culture. I see so many people go into companies, then sold a dream, and they go to the company. It's not a fit for them personally, because it might be a different culture, might be different experience. It doesn't quite match. So again, this comes down to, I think, sometimes recruiters just trying to get the numbers in rather than actually thinking about, will this person fit in with the current team?
Okay, we are in communication with money. I don't know what rival firms means exactly.
Okay. So basically, Manny is going out there stealing the good brokers from companies to start with him. It's good.
Money, you know, unfortunately or fortunate, it's not about the ability to steal. It's in any sales, the product that you're selling to them should be good. And if the product, the new company, that's what I mean, is not good, it's going to be just about the time that you're going to start making money with this.
I think as well, like, why, you know, recruiters will contact brokers and, you know, try and get them to move to their company. But in most cases, what are they offering that's different from the company that they're at? They've got to have a hook to try and get these people to make that jump, to move to their company, to, if they're in secondary, to cancel their Form A's, to then reinstate it's a lot of hassle for brokers to transfer companies if there's no hook to get them. You know, and again, I guess that makes the recruiter's job hard, unless you do have a treasure trove of, you know, stuff that you can pull out the hat to get these brokers on board. But most companies are offering the same when it comes to, you know, to offerings. So I think it does make it difficult.
And you know, actually, it's really interesting, because recently the most who are reaching out to me for agents training from the company perspective, you know, when not the agent is reaching out to me, Olga, come train me, when the company is reaching out, are actually recruiters. And I believe that they're waking up to the reasons, like why the new agent going to join the company. We don't have anything different. We don't have a proper training. We cannot hire the newbies, which is easier. And then that means that my job is almost impossible. There is nothing else rather than each and every company we can offer.
Yeah, correct.
So the recruiters are actually pushing their progress forward.
Yeah, correct. No,
Do you want? I can see the questions of my luxury specialist, but I think we can jump into one of your questions and then answer about the developer.
Yeah, so I had a couple of questions from Craig, from actually YouTube, from the UK. This might be a good one for you to answer. What resources would you recommend for ongoing learning in real estate?
Well, I'm going to be funny here. I'm not going to promote any of my resources or your resources. I literally myself, if we're talking about the product knowledge, learning, understanding, you're going to common sense of real estate, connecting different events, bringing a reasoning to the sellers or the buyers, bringing some news, not only the news, understanding how to explain news is one of my favorite podcasts. A shout out to, let me pull up the Spotify. For some reason, I'm always saying it wrong, even though it's just a simple thing. It's Dubai Property Show or Dubai Property Podcast. Come on, podcast. Let me check. Oh, Dubai Property Podcast. So the guy from New Zealand actually makes it. I think he's on it for 4, maybe even 5 years. For you to learn, if you are just jumping into Dubai real estate, what I would do, I will scroll down to the first episode, which was 4 years ago. It's small episodes, like 12 minutes max. And you start listening. In the beginning, it's going to be gibberish for you. What are they talking about? Was this? Nah. Force yourself to keep listening. Sooner you will start to understand the language. That's going to give you something that you will never get otherwise, an ability to talk same language with your client who might be on Dubai real estate for 10 years and he knows more than you. So that's the only way you can kind of put into your brain the facts and figures and explanation about these facts and figures. Mario Volpi, one of my ex-colleagues, whom I absolutely admire, he's often there. I would definitely listen to what he says because he's been on the market for 20 years in Dubai. So he's a good one.
Good.
What do you think? What do you think? What your take on that?
So for me, definitely would be, podcasts. I think, there's a lot that I kind of listen to every day, even like YouTube. YouTube's my go-to place now. I think pretty much all day, every day, if I'm watching anything on TV, it's going to be YouTube, and it's going to be anything to do with real estate. I love kind of getting different people's perspective when it comes to not even the Dubai real estate market, but different markets in general, just to see how things are different. So that's kind of my go-to. Podcasts, like you're saying, it's definitely one I like to listen to in the gym as well. Sometimes in the morning when I'm on the way to work, I listen to certain podcasts. I will kind of make notes for myself that I can then use for my day-to-day business and for my team. But I just love absorbing as much information as possible. Even going on like DXB Interact, for example, and just looking at the trends and the market
DXB
trends.
Interact, this is a platform. By the way, you know what we will do? In the description of this live, I'm going to put together the free resources for self-learning. This is something I'm giving to those who are joining my academy, to any new joiner that I train. So that's kind of start learning before you even in Dubai. It's going to be a couple of links. Majority of these resources are free. And thank us later.
When you're making lots of money and successful.
Okay, I want to actually brush. We can see other questions, but I just really want to brush this one because I believe that's really starts happening a lot. Several times.
This is Anthony Pompliano.
Oh my God, my YouTube start playing. Stop it. On my strategy sessions, the agents are coming and saying, I paid for my own visa to the company. So that's why it's very important. Yeah, it's very important to clarify that. But the question regarding visas, how should I apply? Should I apply for 2 months tourist visa and reach out for and
this is
search
kind of
for
bad.
a job after
This
arriving?
is bad because I feel like if people are saying this and they're joining companies and asking about how to pay for visas, that really kind of makes me angry because you shouldn't be paying for visas. You shouldn't be, if you're starting with a company, you should not even be thinking about paying an additional visa. Your company should be giving you a visa as standard. And again, check with the onboarding process, but it should be within 2 to 4 weeks. They should be processing that visa. but it is their right, their legal obligation to provide you with a residence visa if you're going to be working for that company. So if you're getting told you have to pay for your own visa, that's a massive big red flag. So that honestly, it enrages me. Because I feel like so many people get burnt by this, and then it puts them off the whole Dubai experience. We had a broker that worked for me, and she went through a similar situation. She moved from the UK, sold a dream, started a company. The visa wasn't done. She'd been there for 2 months. Visa wasn't done. She's having to do border runs, and it was just a nightmare for her. And in the end, they were saying, look, actually, we're not going to process your visa now. She's like, well, I've been here for 2.5 months, nearly 3 months. It's just, and there's more horror stories like this that happen every single day to people. And a lot of people
Yeah, well, on average, visa cost for the company would be, because it's not only visa, it's your medical insurance, there's additional payments that they should make. I would say around 10,000 dirhams, which is 2,000 pounds.
Correct.
Roughly. So what does that mean? As soon as they pay their visa, the cost is gone. So if you're leaving the company in 2 months, they basically wasted 10,000. From one side, I do understand when the company is not rushing into opening the visa as well. And I don't believe that it's for the agent benefit to kind of rush with opening the visa.
No, it's not. But I also think as well, when it comes, this is why the onboarding process is so important, because that's why you wait 2 to 4 weeks, because there's going to be certain provisos that the broker needs to do before that visa is started. So it might cause you.
Before we're all kind of, yes, good, and we're going to start the process.
Correct. So I do believe there should be, at least a 2 week before the broker as well, because they might get there and think, actually, the company's not for me. I want to go before time. So I do believe a 2 to 4 week, but there should be also some rules in place for the broker to make sure they hit before that visa started.
So as much as we want to kind of stay in the budget and we want to maybe save some money, I would in this way I would advise you plan yourself to visit for at least 10 days before you actually relocate. Go around, understand the atmosphere inside the company, walk in the sales floor. Do you see the people? Do you like those people? Because you're going to be kind of conditioned by their productivity. If there is everyone is, hanging around with a cooler, you're not going to make much money. If you can see people on the phone, if you can see people busy, this is where you need to be. And then when the visa, the visa going to start probably on a 2nd or 3rd week of you working in the company when you finish your onboarding. Make sure you understand everything right. Make sure you want to stay with this company, because it's just not going to be fair for you. They might start try to charge you for some training fees, which is going to be on average 5,000 dirhams, which is 1,000 pounds, which is not a nice thing to pay as well. But you don't want to have like a bitter taste splitting with the company. It's easier to kind of get everything right before.
I also think as well, it's kind of a testing period for both people. It's not even just about the company, it's a testing period, because like we said before, you want to make sure you might go through the training and realize actually that training wasn't any good, or I'm not gelling with the people that I'm working with. The sales floor is a bit dead. So it's just a time for you to really assess the company as much as they're assessing you. So definitely something that you want to be doing.
So I've seen the question about what's the real runway to get by starting with a developer in Dubai. We relocated in January 2020. Okay. If you already have a sales experience, I believe I have a little bit more meat to answer this question. First of all, my assumption would be that you want to relocate to work with a developer, probably because overall it's kind of more solid foundation, and because developer pays salary. Well, the reality of working with a developer without any prior real estate experience in Dubai is that your main, in majority of developers at least, your main clients are not the actual clients who are buying real estate. Your main clients are agents.
Correct.
So your success depends on how many agents do you already have in your network. Here, if you're relocating, you're going to be competing with relationship managers. This is how they call it. That actually is still an agent, but they call it relationship manager. You're going to be competing with a relationship manager in your team, someone who's been an agent for 5 years, or maybe worked in a different developer for 2 years. So he has already 100, 200, 1,000 agents in his pocket. And he has the same targets as you.
Yeah.
And let me tell you that usually, I mean, average developer will start with 3 million per month. So basically, sometimes it's just like one deal, depending on the ticket price, 3 million dirhams. It's just less than $1 million, right?
Yes.
800,000, something like this.
Yeah.
Then on the second and third month, it usually doubled. So you have to being able to generate this network of agents really quickly. You have to be able to learn the projects and to buy really quickly, because you're going to be selling to the agents. You're going to be doing the briefing for the agents. They're going to be bringing you your clients. But the client is brought to you because you are an expert in the project and in a developer. So now ask yourself, you are selling yourself to the agencies, to the agents.
True.
If they will feel that you don't have enough knowledge of the market, of Dubai, or anything, they will never bring you the client. They will bring the client to your colleague.
I think
Even
like it's
if
kind of like you're kind of selling sand to the Arabs, aren't you? So, you know,
exactly.
if you don't have that overall knowledge, I mean, down to where the marble's from, whether it's like literally, I think that's where most of the off-plan brokers do go wrong, because they don't necessarily know the intricate details that they need to know to get that deal closed. Because like we said, you are selling sand to the Arabs. So if there's a hint of hesitation, or you're not confident, or you don't know a certain area of the development, then it might not work.
Yeah, and I'm saying again, if that would be a direct clients, then the landscape is different. But the agencies and agent, they're not going to belong to you. Even if you've done onboarding and you got your own network of agencies, tomorrow they can go and close with your colleague. No one's going to say no to them. No one's going to give you commission. Unfortunately, this is how unfair the work for the developer is. That's why bigger names, I'm not going to say them right now, but big names, they're literally recycling, they're firing and hiring around 200, 250 people every month, literally. Why? Because the people are not performing, and they're not going to keep you on a salary more than, I think, sometimes even 2 months. If you're not performing, you're going to be out. So it's kind of painful, I would say.
I
Yeah.
agree. I agree. I can see Ramsha is here. Can you
I was
see?
thinking, is it our Ramsha?
It is Ramsha. I love that. Hi, Ramsha.
Thank you for support.
I love the fact that you've made this, because it's a really good question. So I'd love to know what you think about personal branding for brokers. Is it important? Does it help in Dubai? Should they be active on social media? Now, basically, for everyone that's watching now, Ramsha, we've worked in the past. I think we've all worked together. Ramsha is one of the best marketing managers, I would say, in Dubai. And she actually taught me really about personal branding. So the fact, that you've asked these very important questions, personal branding in real estate is super important these days. As a broker, I feel if you're not on social media and you're not putting yourself out there, I feel like you're going to be on the back burner. Because as we know, it's all about content. The more content you're putting out there, the more trust you're going to build, the more clients you're going to get. And I know for a fact that if you're dealing with investors and sellers, they're probably going to be looking you up on LinkedIn or even on your socials to find out what type of broker you are, what property you sold, how long you've been in the market.
100%.
Right? So if you're not anywhere and you can't prove your success, you might find it a bit hard to get the results that you need. So I think, especially in Dubai, when there's thousands and thousands of brokers, all fighting for business, you've got to be the one that shows up. You've got to be the one that's knowledgeable and it's putting out good content and can be that good quality community broker or even developer. So it's super, super important to be active in social media. And I think even for myself, it's been kind of a major part for me over the last, I'd say, year, right? Having to step up my own social media content. Being in the position that I'm in, it's important that I'm putting out content to build trust with brokers and other people in the industry. So I think it's important.
I just want to add one small thing to you, as I completely agree with you. I do have friends, my ex-colleagues, with whom I started 11 years ago. And the conversation was actually like, not recent, it was 2 years. And that person told me he is a very successful agent, really successful. He's listing king of Palm almost. And then he was declined to give a listing. The owner just told him that I look you up on the social media. I do not have that. I do not think that you have a type of the clientele with your profile which is needed to be attracted for the price that we are trying to reach. And he was like, what? And I was like, I've told you so. It's if you think that it's too late for you, you still have to start now.
Start now, and don't think about it. Don't overthink it. Just start. Nice one, Ramsha.
So what we have else?
I forgot. So cold calling tips to get listings, please. And is the close to schedule a meeting? I think definitely when it comes to sales, to get a meeting with a seller, it's definitely what you want to be doing. You want to be getting yourself in front of as many sellers as possible. Once you get in front of a seller, you can sell yourself, you can sell your company, you can do your marketing strategy, what you're going to be, how you're going to be selling that seller's property, your market knowledge, but also you as a person. They've got to buy into you. You are the company. So, you know, by meeting somebody face to face, hopefully you're a confident person, you come across really well and they connect with you and have a good chat about life and everything else in between. That's going to help you get the listing, as opposed from just calling and saying, is your property available for sale? You know, it's the same old. I think you've got to go, you've got to add value. And this is what brokers don't tend to do. They're not adding value when they're making these phone calls. You know, so when you're calling, add that value. Yes, you got clients. Even send a report. Are you interested in hearing about the latest transactions that have happened in your community over the last quarter? You know, send that to them. That might, again, get them interested in you. But if you're not adding value, in most cases, they're receiving 50 phone calls a day. What makes you stand out? So by having a right call and adding that value, you're probably going to get the result that you need. So it comes down to market knowledge and the value that you add as a broker.
I have to jump in because I want to give an exact tip. And when I'm giving an exact tip, I'm giving you exactly what to say and how to ask question, right?
Yeah,
so overall, absolutely 100% in, but we still need to kind of put the foot in the door. Like, for example, you're calling to the seller whom you know is listing with other agents already because, you know, you got the bot on Telegram, you scan the code, you send him a link, or even if you just call and he's saying, yeah, well, bring me the buyer and then let's see. But the best approach is, as I call it, kind of a push, a bit of a push. Like completely understand, Mr. Seller, that you are already working with other agent. It's not like I'm trying to disturb your relationship with them. But what we can do, if you like, I can meet with you either over the coffee or maybe even on Zoom. And show you the marketing strategy, the additional marketing actions that myself and my company does, specifically tailored for your area to get your property sold at the highest possible price. And I'm not doing this, as I said, to anyhow disturb your relationship with your current brokers. I just want you to have it so you can always keep them on your toes. Would that be useful if you had this strategy in your pocket as well? Boom. That's
yes.
it.
Love that. It really is. And you're adding that value. You're adding value.
Yeah, you're adding the value. And you're not
For
begging for listing. No one
correct.
wants to beg for
No
listing.
beg.
And you add in value and you know how to transition yourself. The only thing now, I'm so sorry, you should have a decent marketing strategy. You should have a decent brand to present yourself as someone who can execute this marketing strategy.
Correct.
Here, any cold calling trick's not going to work because the cold calling trick working for you to get that interest, and then you have to still be a person who is able to deliver. Now we're talking, right?
And then also, you know, if it might not be a one-prong attack, it might be a 3 or 4-prong attack. And what I mean by that is that the follow-up is also going to be important. You know, so don't have that first initial phone call and then not speak to them again for a month. make sure you're scheduled in to speak to that seller every single week until they say yes. I always say to my guys, you're like professional stalkers, because you've got to literally keep in touch with these people until,
Yeah.
until their current agents fail. Then you're that go-to person once they don't get the results with their current agent. They'll be like, okay, I spoke to this guy, let's go back to that. So the follow-ups and the communication is super important.
100%. Sorry, I'm going to sit on this question just to kind of browse on that a little bit more. How many of emails and important messages I'm receiving from people are trying to sell me something, or
Yes.
we're going to build a AI agent for you who are going to be pretend to be a client, so your agent in the academy could kind of really polish the skills, or we're going to do this. And it's not like I don't want to do that. I'm just forgetting. And
Right.
if the person is following up, and it's like, oh, thank you, please, can you just remind me on Wednesday, because I don't have my schedule, don't want to think about it over the weekend. So stop thinking that you're bothering people. As I'm saying, have a space in a time, own a space. Yeah, maybe I'm bothering people, so what?
Correct. And it's like, but if you don't bother them, you're not going to eat, so this is your business, and this is pretty much 90% of the job is being that person. So yeah, don't be afraid, and don't think you're bothering them, because it's something that we need to do to build those connections. So I agree.
Okay, so we have to. I can see another cold calling question. It just seems to be such a cold hot topic. The question: how long it typically takes to earn a first commission in Dubai real estate, especially for someone who has no prior experience?
It depends on where you're starting. So again, I've done a few videos on this on my channel, but if you're starting in the secondary market and you're brand new to real estate, I definitely recommend starting in leasing, because leasing is kind of at the gateway into the market, into the secondary market. Leasing is quick, it's fast paced, it's aggressive. You meet more people, you see more properties, but also you will close deals quicker. Now, you should be closing deals within your first month to 6 weeks when you start in leasing in the secondary market, which means you are starting to make money a bit sooner. If you do bypass leasing and you go into sales straight away, then it could be maybe 3 months before you make commission, sometimes a bit more depending on the transaction of your first deal. But we say maybe three to 6 months. Let's put it in between that kind of bracket there before you start making money. Off plan, it could be the same, could be longer, depending on, again, when the developers pay you, I guess.
Exactly, because in off plan, it's not only for you to actually get that signature from the client on the booking form, just the process of executing or invoicing the developer your commission. Correct. Will take an exact 2 to 3 months, because that can only be done after the payment plan executed with the buyer. So the buyers, they usually do not pay 20% upfront. They do have a 10% on booking, and then another 2 months to pay 10%. So 20% has to be paid in full, plus additional Dubai Land Department registration, basically a legal registration of the deal. And only then the sales purchase agreement going to be physically delivered to the buyer. They have to sign it, then delivered to the developer has to sign it, where it's just like additional month depending on where the buyer lives. And then after only the signature on this document, your company can invoice the developer, and developer can take up to 60 days minimum to actually release the commission.
That's if they pay, and it's a whole process, isn't it?
So it's not about how quick you can make money, how quick you can be paid. That's the question.
That's also it. And I think also this is, and again, super important, because if you are coming to Dubai and you have got a certain budget or finances in place, you've really got to think about this, guys, because there's no point going into sales or off plan if you're on limited funds, because you'll burn through those funds so quickly. And by the time you realize that actually my funds are running low, I better go into leasing to make some quick money, it's too late. And then you're desperate. Yeah. And again, in most cases, people fail. So really think about, yes, the end goal is to get into sales or off plan, but don't bypass, the money maker at the beginning to give you stability and give you a bit of a nest egg. Because I always think as well, when you start in leasing, your landlords are investors. So it's going to help you when you go into sales. your tenants can become your buyers. So it does kind of naturally go along a line in terms of the story that you're telling. So yeah, that's kind of my thought on that.
So our recommendation is to start in leasing always, specifically if you're new to Dubai, specifically if you're new to real estate, start in leasing. You're gonna bite your teeth, elbows, knees, everything, and then you're gonna become stronger. Okay, I do have one question. I
Well,
actually have more, but it seems like we are honestly 40 minutes in.
yes.
Uh,
But next week.
it's it's from Mohammed. He's moving from Abu Dhabi to Dubai. He's actually based in Al Ain, and what he told me that he was doing leasing there. So he does have real estate experience, not in Dubai, doing leasing. So which type of real estate section shall I start? My experience in leasing in Abu Dhabi, shall I start with off-plan, radio, secondary?
Again, I think it really depends on yourself. The fact that you've got leasing, well, the fact that you've kind of done UAE real estate is a good thing. So it can't be that much different to kind of Abu Dhabi, I guess. Might be a slow market.
I'm going to be questioning myself. Who were that? Which type of leasing was that? Was that you were actively approaching and finding your own listings, or was that you are managing a couple of buildings? It's more like a UK leasing experience.
If they're doing rentals in terms of the standard secondary leasing, in terms of residential leasing, that's not a bad thing because you've kind of understood the market and you might have some contacts. So if you were looking at making that step up, I guess, because you have got that base in leasing, then yes, going into sales straight away might be okay for you because you've done leasing essentially in Dubai if it's residential leasing. So you could really go down any route depending again on what your finances are and how confident you are with taking that step up. And if it is a block or building leasing, then that is completely different. You might then want to start with residential leasing, if you go down the traditional route in Dubai, because like you're saying, Olga, it's very different in terms of the way it works.
Yeah, and the second question from Mohammed as well. I'm willing to start working in real estate, but I'm going to move out from Al Ain, where's part of Abu Dhabi, to Dubai only after I close my first deal. So will the commuting work? I mean, at least 1 hour one way, 1.5 hours, I think.
I think that might be tricky because,
we're talking about going to secondary or going to leasing. That's what I mean. With the commuting.
That's what I'm saying. So he's going to be traveling from Al Ain to Dubai for work. So I think that could be a bit tricky because, first of all, the travel time, it's going to, take you a while to get to and from, but also weekend viewings and, late night viewings, you might burn yourself out if you are making that commute. I mean, if you could maybe move into Dubai and, rent something in Dubai, that might be the easy option. I know that's not, sometimes available for people, but you may find at the beginning, you might be all excited about it, but it might take its toll the more busier you get.
What I'm thinking might be a good option because there are offline companies mainly focusing on off-plan, and because it's all international, because sometimes you have to do calls middle of the night because you go to US or Canada, they are completely fine with you being at least 3-4 days working remotely. You don't have to be in the office, but you still want to be in the office because you need to have this kind of feeling of, unity, team. So maybe starting with the off-plan sales, getting yourself up to speed with that, gonna be a better option because really I do not see you going back and forth.
Plus all the viewing, driving around, and then it's that for secondary side, I think would burn you out. I think
specifically with the horrible traffic that you have to get out now.
No. I think definitely what you've mentioned in terms of off-plan and doing your online meetings would help, and splitting it up in terms of going to the office. I think that gives you more flexibility to do what you want to do without the pressure of the commute every day.
Okay, should we answer to Sheikh Hafan? New to Dubai, 1 month of cold calling, decent response, but I think I lack knowledge of the projects in the market. Why should I focus more on market knowledge of calls? Well, why do you think, that's a good question. Why do you think your calls do not have response because of the project. But I would say, depending on which kind of cold calling you're doing, I believe that now, from kind of a brief description, you're trying to cold call buyers for the off-plan projects,
That's correct.
because there is no need to have more market knowledge about the sellers. It's kind of simpler. Yeah, I mean, this is my building, I have to find out everything about this. There are companies in Dubai, and this is maybe like a general information, which do not sell offline through advertising on social media. They're only focusing on cold calls. So they put the agents in 300, 400 calls a day schedule. Sometimes they even pay a small basic salary.
Yes.
And what you're doing all day, you're just smashing the phone and saying, "Hi, sir, we do have a new launch of the Mac Ireland's coming in."
I get so many of them a day, especially the weekend. My phone will start. I know my phone will ring from 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, okay, here we go.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah. So if you're talking about this type of calls, then first of all, it's never, the conversion rate could get better, the better skills of communication you will have. However, it's still a very, very broad shot in the darkness. So the probability of you finding someone who is on a cold call going to get engaged with you is like, even if I would do those type of cold calls, I want to think so. I would be able to generate at least a decent amount of sellers and buyers, because I will be having a conversation about everything, not just trying to sell them something. But
you know what? I also think as well, for me, sometimes when I receive these phone calls, I will entertain, I will have a conversation if I feel the broker on the other end of the line knows what they're talking about and comes across as confidence. Sometimes, I will kind of think, do you know what? Good for you, because I can tell you know what you're talking about and you're making an effort. So I will at least kind of humor you with this phone call. That's probably only about 1% of the time.
But you are not the target audience, because you're not going to buy anything from them, is it?
No, but I know. But
this is what the marketing person will say. You don't like the branding.
I might be though, because I'm thinking, actually, this guy's good. Let me listen to what he's got to say. Okay, where's the hook? So you sometimes I will be interested just to hear what is actually happening with the project. But in most cases, they don't come across as confident. They don't come across as enthusiastic on the phone. It sounds like they literally got a gun to their heads, and they're being forced to make these calls, and it comes across on the phone.
Because it's true.
It's true, exactly. And I'm like, you know what? I just know. I'm sorry, but you've lost me.
Sometimes, not sometimes. I'm always trying to, anyone who's cold calling me, not only in real estate, I'm always trying to give an advice. I'm always trying to be nice. And I have to always say, well, I'm actually a sales trainer. I actually teach how to cold call. What you could do is you could say this and this, and kind of put me into the question in line, so you will understand if I'm even a potentially seller or buyer or anything towards that. 100%. If you're going to know more about the project, that potentially would improve your conversion. But the question is, in this first call, no one expects you to know everything. In this first call, your goal is not to sell them anything. Your goal is to book a next step, a meeting. To understand, do they have a potential interest?
Correct.
And they will not start randomly having this potential interest just because you cold call them. What the people don't understand, it's not about the magic phrase that you've told them. Oh, we have a 55 million trillion% returns. Oh, then I'm going to invest. That's not how it works, right?
You know what, I also as well, because off-plan, some of the company I work for, off-plan agents would get really annoyed that they didn't convert a deal on their first call. I'm like, well, that's probably never going to happen. But it's a lead that's come through. But I'm like, well, it says, does it say if you want to buy now, click here? It never says that. No. It normally says for more information, click or contact us. So they're wanting information to then, so I feel like it's there's maybe a misconception sometimes for brokers when they get these leads. They think they're going to convert straight away, but they're, like you mentioned, it's got to be that meeting's got to be the next call. That's how you then kind of nurture them and kind of progress it through. It's making sure you get that second meeting.
And again, just because I want to give the small tips how to convert a meeting, because I do have, if you haven't downloaded, I don't know what you've been doing on my YouTube channel, I do have a cold calling script for secondary market to get the listings. And I do have a off-plan script how to kind of book the first meeting with the client. So usually if he kind of showed some interest, it was like, have you found what you're looking for? You've been looking, have you been actually considering, or you completely gave up on idea of making money with Dubai real estate? Kind of this type of questions. And then whenever he kind of elicit a bit of curiosity, you can say like, look, there is hundreds of projects, of course, and I'm sure you're getting a lot of calls. What we can do at this point, if you like, instead of me trying to explain you things on the phone and just kind of guess which project going to be the best out of 1,000, even more than 1,000 that are now in Dubai. Would it make sense for us to book a little bit more time together, maybe on a Zoom or over coffee, where I can show you the actual, not only the project itself, but the market statistic, the past prices for sales and rental in different areas. So you kind of going to see for yourself, does investment in Dubai real estate make sense for you right now? Would that be useful if we will do that?
No,
So,
correct. Again,
because you have to give them something. There is no point for them to come on a meeting. Yeah,
correct, and that's exactly it. You know, they give them something. It's you know, I think it's definitely something that frustrates me sometimes when brokers, you know, I see them and I hear them and I'm like, oh, come on, you know. But this is why we're here.
Yeah, it's just like, hello, these clients, they're actual human beings. They're not going to do anything. They're not your mom and dad. That's what I'm saying. Usually, they don't have to do anything for you. They're doing things for themselves as any other human being. Okay. I mean, I do have a lot of questions, more questions than this, but should we kind of wrap it up? Last question from you.
I think you know, I think we can. I've still got lots of questions, but I think, you know, our broker survival kit should maybe be a weekly thing. We can jump on here for half an hour each week, and you know, I'm sure there's been more questions as we go along. And I think it's been even for me to kind of connect this way and do the first YouTube, it's been great to connect with people online. So I definitely think it would be good for us to continue this maybe weekly.
Okay, let me just take a nice picture of us with the questions. And can you imagine we are in 2050? I don't know why I'm in 2050 all the time.
Okay.
And we are streaming, and there's millions and trillions of people, but it doesn't matter. Even if it's going to be one person today,
Correct.
we actually helped, it's enough.
Correct.
But I want to keep this like small moments and just.
Yeah, it's our first YouTube live. It's great.
Okay, so we stay under an hour.
Good. I think that's been good. I feel like we've had a few people tune in. We've had some nice questions asked. And again, I think we can definitely progress this as the weeks go on, and hopefully we can add more value. And, you know, if we've touched one person today and helped somebody, that's our job done. I always say that we want to give authentic and real advice, no fluff. And, you know, I think we do that very well. So hopefully people will understand that and they'll come back for more next week.
And I'm sure under this live, you will be able to leave a comment. And in the comment section, not only just a comment of thank you guys, but it just maybe a question or expanding on something that we really discussed or something completely new, so we can focus on that next time.
Sounds good. Okay? Fantastic.
Thank you. See you next week.
See you soon. All right. Bye-bye.